Opie is here, and his show starts now.
That's a good one right there. Smashing Pumpkins, Bullet with Butterfly Wings. And yes, I picked these songs because they have meaning to me.
That's always a good reason to start the show.
What's going on, Vic?
Nothing, man. I told you in a second. Great. I played that so much I was annoying people with it when it was out. You know, I don't repeat a lot of things, but I would go back and just hit redo
over and over again,
and played the whole double CD to death. Yeah, the Melancholy.
I love it. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in the cage.
Welcome to what goes on in between my ears.
It's a theme for today's show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about rats today with Morgan Spurlock.
Oh, nice.
Even though he was already on this channel earlier, but what the hell?
You can't get enough of Morgan Spurlock.
Yeah, we'll talk about his documentary Rats, which I really, really enjoyed. I'm fired up. I walked in and wow, Vic.
What?
Wow. Well, last I left you, I'm searching for a place to sit before the radio show.
Okay.
You know, back in the day,
sure,
which is only a mere couple months ago, I had it nice around here. Nice.
Sure.
This studio was built for me.
Okay.
And no one was in it, but no one was in the studio before the radio show, so I got to sit in here. You got the 6 TVs, and it's all nice. A nice little couch in the corner. You can relax and just get your head together before the show. And then when all the changes went down and moving to this shift, Ron Bennington uses this studio for his Raw Dog show.
Okay.
So I can't be in here anymore, obviously. And he has to end right at 250. What is it? 251, 253. Whatever it is, and then it's like NASCAR in here. Like his crew is leaving, my crew's coming in, and they're just reworking the studio so we could get on the air right at 3:00.
I witnessed some of that.
It's crazy, right?
I saw some great cable changing and flipping around. No, I really did. It was awesome.
Nuts.
It was awesome.
It's absolutely nuts. So I can't hang in here anymore. So then there was an office that I used to have that I gave up years ago to the staff, and it's a tiny office that has 4 people in it already. It's got Paul, it's got Roland, it's got E-Rock, and then Travis is in there.
Me, when I come in early.
Vic is in there. and Eric.
Pete Davidson is asleep on the couch.
Pete Davidson has been known to sleep on the couch, you're right. And Eric pretty much rules that office, so he's decided he needs it very cold.
I like that.
Eric, I'm not trashing you.
No, I'm just watching.
I'm just giving facts. He likes it really cold and really dark.
That's Elvis style.
Yeah, and it's cluttery. And a little something about me, I can't stand clutter.
Okay.
When my apartment gets cluttered, I have to leave.
Sure.
And just leave for hours.
I got you.
Are you like that?
Yeah, because I'll just start throwing shit away just to declutterify.
Oh, yeah.
Not a word.
Oh, yeah. Middle of the night, I throw my kids' toys away, okay?
I know lots of parents that do that. I've always enjoyed that because I think you see modern parents and they spoil their kids so much that it would have never dawned on me that they would do that. And I really enjoyed learning that. Going back like 20 years ago when, every time I thought, you're too sweet with little Dakota or whoever. And they're like, look, I throw this shit away, right? And I'm like, all right, or you're not the giant wuss I thought you were as a parent.
I mean, but to be fair, you have to be aware and you got to realize what toys your kids are playing with.
I didn't say right, but it's still nice to know. It was nice to learn that does happen sometimes. Right. And not having kids, I didn't know that went on.
And then you see the toys, they're gathering dust. You're like, you know what? They haven't touched that thing in weeks.
Right.
Middle of the night, right down the garbage chute. Right down the garbage chute.
I like that. That's really good.
So then I asked the company, I'm like, my God, I mean, I want to be here before the radio show, believe it or not. Right. Hang a little bit, talk to the guys, get things together. So they came up with this plan where I go upstairs and there's an office, but it's not my office. It's a temporary office. That a lot of people use because there's people coming from other parts of the country that work with this company.
Okay.
So when they're in town, whoever's in town, they get to use this office. That's the type of
it's a catch-all.
Well, that's what they think of me, is what I'm saying.
Oh, sure.
I could have an office sort of with other people.
We determined yesterday, I believe, that they were slowly making you Milton from Office Space.
Yeah, exactly.
The Stephen Root character. But at the end of the movie, I think he winds up a billionaire on the beach.
Yeah.
So you're already heading that that direction.
All right.
So you're not going to get a lot of sympathy.
Oh, no, I'm not telling this shit for sympathy.
Oh, no, I understood.
I'm just throwing this shit out there.
It's just weird, sure.
I think I'm telling people because they deal with this same horse shit at their jobs.
Right.
So I got this weird office, but it's not mine.
I know.
And they've said it's temporary because they don't have a lot of space around here. I'm doing a lot of quotations in the air. And so then the last few days, I haven't had a chair in there. Not even a chair. So I've been sitting on the windowsill and fooling around with Krista Stefano and Kenny and the guys when they come up, and we hang a little bit before the show. So I was stupid enough today to ask for a chair. I said, hey, Don, I don't have a chair in my temporary office. His answer was, there's a shortage of chairs at Sirius XM, and that he doesn't even have a chair.
Oh, wow. A lot of people. I've seen a lot of people standing around.
Right.
It's like a highway construction site in here sometimes.
So I'm like, what do you suggest I do? Sit on the windowsill or what? And then despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in the cage. The rage got the best of me, and I just said, well, I'm just going to go sit on the floor somewhere. Thanks for the help. Thank you so much.
Didn't you tell me yesterday there was a garment bag in there?
Oh, yeah. It turns out that's not even my office.
Oh, I was going to say, they probably wanted you to use that like a hammock.
Yeah.
Some sort of device. Get a coat hanger going on one end, loop it up in it's a collapsible ceiling, and then that was somebody's suggestion.
If they gave me an actual office for the 1 year that I'm going to be here at Sirius XM,
right,
that has not fucking changed.
Well,
I would just put a hammock in the office. Absolutely.
Just a tiki bar.
Yeah.
Just go full on.
Yes, just a hammock in an office. I'd be very happy.
And play nothing but, no, I was going to say play the Jimmy Buffett channel all the time, but
I mean,
that might be a little
that's what they think of me. I can't even get a chair for my temporary office.
Well, there's a shortage.
There's a shortage of chairs. I'm going to fucking strangle you. I'm going to strangle you.
Well, no, that's the beauty of working for a corporation.
So
that's always the beauty of working for a corporation, is to look around and go, where's the stapler? I'm fucking, look, we got some on order. They're coming back. And in the meantime, you see them bring somebody up as a guest in a Bentley.
Yeah.
In a coat made out of staplers. Oh, that's where the staplers went. They decided to go costume design with this and get a Bentley because blah, blah, blah. But
you know the deal.
Right.
You know the deal.
Hey, I'm the comic. I'm like, eat anything in that box. Everything on the menu is yours. Oh. And you go, I get the T-bone. Oh, fuck you. Sorry. Right here between, you're the opener. So anything between the fried jalapenos.
Do people know about that?
I think so.
That used to infuriate me.
Still goes on.
So the stand-up comics, when they go to these clubs, they eat for free, but they can only pick certain items on the menu. This is a real deal that happens at a ton of clubs.
And the worst part about it is the headliner gets to pick anything they want off the menu.
Right.
And then the dude that's getting paid the least and treated the shittiest, the opener, he's the one that's limited to the appetizer section. And sometimes even only half off for him. But the person that needs the gratis the most,
of course,
usually doesn't fucking get it at all. It's the old, that's a wonderful thing about comedy club. The good ones. That's how you can tell it's a good one.
And with that, we say good afternoon to Artie Lange.
All I heard was opener and appetizer.
Yeah, we're up to a great start.
He knows. He can vouch for everything I'm saying. There are legendary stories about this for 35 years.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people understood that, you can't just pick anything off the menu.
No.
You got to pick a couple items. You're allowed to have maybe the chicken wings and maybe...
We're talking about comedy club menus and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't... The Don Marrera wings are extra.
Chris Rock's mom's fried chicken was an actual dish when Caroline's had that restaurant next to it.
Franklin Ajayi fajitas.
Just to fill you in, because you're just walking in, Artie, I'm fired up.
What happened?
Well, with all the changes, I don't have a place to sit before the radio show.
That's unbelievable. Dude,
I don't have a place to sit.
I was late because of the Cousin Brucey lockdown. That's one of the funniest things I've ever... Is this a volume? Okay, me.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, that video, I got to tell you something. And again, there's no way, I love Howard, but there's no way not to goof on it.
Of course.
First of all, your voice is hilarious. Kenny is just never not funny.
Right.
Lockdown.
We're in lockdown, GH.
When they eventually come by, it looks like a baby duckling got ahead of the mother duck.
It's hilarious. I agree.
Ronnie has such a complex. How long did it take to find a shorter security guard? How fucking long He scoured the earth.
You got Ronnie, and then you got Big Bird, and then you got a security guy that's shorter than Ronnie.
It looked like a baby.
And that's the baby duckling trying to keep up.
Look at that, a mama pelican.
Dude, that's all because I said good morning to the guy.
Yeah.
That's all it was. So I don't
He's losing his mind.
I don't have a place to sit before the radio show, and they finally gave me a temporary office that other people use when they're in New York. And then the last 3 days I haven't had a chair in there, so I was stupid enough to ask for a chair today. And I was told there's a shortage of chairs at SiriusXM. And then the person, Don, who I asked, he goes, I don't even have a chair.
There's chairs right here.
There's 2 extra ones.
Exactly. Give me one of these chairs.
Vic and I'll do a benefit.
There you go. Right.
I mean, that is just what is going on.
It's you know what's going to happen starting next week. I'm just going to show up like 5 minutes before the radio show.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, just fucking.
You're better off anyway.
Go out swinging.
This corporate environment will drive you nuts anyway.
Well, that's what it's becoming more and more. I just have people calling me from that that corporation over there.
Right.
And they're upset. And I for years I didn't say anything, but I'm like, you know what? I'll just
wait. Who's upset?
That Howard's organization. I get people calling from within the.
Oh, because of the Daily Mail article?
No, long before that. They're just upset the way the stories I hear. The way they're getting treated. It's not the guy I knew.
Yeah. I've heard those stories for the last bunch of years. They're leaking out.
But he's not the man I knew. Like the way he's treating people supposedly. I mean, they're just hearsay stuff. So I just kind of. Let stuff out a little bit because those people have to have a little bit of a voice. You're talking about people who are, homeless, maybe, who used to work for them.
Right.
And they can't get in touch with them. People who left a lot of blood on that floor, man.
Right. Made the show great.
I didn't have to, talk about felonies I committed on the biggest radio show. I didn't have to. That wasn't in the contract. I didn't check with anybody. And I'd get out on the 6th Avenue after that show going, what did I just say?
Yeah. Bill Burr used to say stuff like that. Bill Burr would come, not felony stuff, but I mean, he would.
Well, you got to commit him to have a story.
Yeah, he would be on the radio show, and it would just get so ugly and so like twisted and dark. And then he would leave the building and go, and then I'm facing a bright sunny day, and I feel like I needed to go take a rape shower.
No,
or something.
And then it's New York. Got a UPS guy going, was that hooker dead?
I'm sure. I've witnessed all of this.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I've witnessed all of this.
Construction guys going, Artie, did that clear up?
Yeah, really. Show me the scar. I want to see just one of them. Show me one.
Well, at least they're listening to the stories.
Well, it's the Stern show.
Yeah.
I'm telling guys
and it's prime.
I'm telling guys going to work in Missouri.
Right. You got to work on that show, and it's prime, man.
Listen, man, someone told me around 2003, somebody told me, and again, this is a testament to Howard. I jumped on a train that was already, moving fast. All I could do was fuck it up. That first ratings book, I'm going, what if it, plummeted?
Yeah.
I'm the only difference.
Yeah. They'll all stare at you.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, what's different?
Look around the room and point at
That's true. You're lucky you didn't get your arm yanked off. That's how fast that fucking train was going at the time. No, that was well said.
Steamrolling, and what stench of failure is coming from it? I would get,
the level of self-deprecation is amazing.
One of the agents,
awesome.
One of the agents said to me that worked in the radio said they did some study in 2003. At 9:16 or whatever, New York time, there were 11 million people listening to it.
Wow.
All over the and you realize what you're telling them because Howard's great, that intimate thing. You think you're talking to him.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
That's right. A lot of people are hearing this right now.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, Cabby did a year in the joint because he was saying out loud on the radio. He just wasn't paying taxes. On the commercial, I said, Cabby, why don't you calm down?
Yeah,
You're not on the yuck and fuck face.
Good show, though. Right. I always love that show.
Yuck's underrated.
Nothing against.
When those teams break up, it's always like one bitter guy.
I know. Same thing with the comedy duos.
Willie Tyler has not talked to Lester in
years. He's still mad about those McDonald's residuals. He's still goddamn angry.
That's right. That guy more than I do.
I love that, though. Why don't you calm down a little bit?
Yeah, I can't. Listen, what are you doing? The next day, two guys in Men in Black suits came and said, "Where's Crazy Cabby's office?" cut to him in chains. Yeah.
The next day?
He did a year. The next day.
Wow, they didn't fuck around.
I had 2 DEA agents come in because I made a joke. When Heath Ledger died, I said me and him had the same heroin dealer.
Yeah.
And the joke was, it was Mary Kate Olsen.
Right.
She was on her way to the planet.
I remember she was in there somehow.
She wasn't bringing him green juice.
Right.
So that was the joke, but the DEA didn't like that. So the next day, I'm at my place of business. I work there. You know how embarrassing it is? Like, security guys goes, he goes, oh man, you're one entertaining fuck up, man. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, the DEA guys here. They had the windbreakers on. They called me in a room and they said, we're investigating the death. Is that true? I said, no. I said, unless you want to investigate Mary Kate Olsen. That's all I meant.
Fake snitch on Mary Kate.
But they weren't sure that they had combined.
By accident, they arrest the other one. That would be great. Boom, boom.
Good night, everybody.
It's the kind of jokes that get you free wings.
No, but you should have set her up. That would have been hilarious.
Well, I said no, guys, and thanks for doing it like discreetly.
Yeah,
they came to the show. We were in a commercial break, for Christ's sake.
Right.
And they left, and everyone was like, how was the meeting with the DEA?
So what's going on over there, man? There's changes, and I guess you went off a little bit on the podcast, and then the Daily Mail picked it up.
Every once in a while, you dip
in a little bit.
Because I start thinking about it, because people do call me, good people, who were like family to them. I saw that. They were like sons to them, some of them. And they're in a lot of trouble, and they can't get in touch with them. They think I can get in touch with them. I think I can't either,
Yeah.
And there's this woman over there who just took over.
Marcy.
Yeah, Marcy Turk, who's like, I've never met her, but she seems like an evil person. And, suppose you have to talk to her to get permission to talk to him. I said, that can't be the same guy I work for.
That was the mistake I made. I guess I had to tell her I'm going to say good morning to Howard in the hallways.
You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
Well, I can confirm that, because I would love to throw you under the bus. You told me, you told me when it happened. Like I swear to God, you were genuinely confused for like a week. He was walking around going, I still can't fucking put this together. How this works?
And it's you. You're a major guy.
Well, they're not really treating me that.
But you are. You are.
Let's just say I used to be.
Don't
Artie.
have a chair.
No,
I used to be.
You still are.
I used to be. I don't have a fucking chair.
I'll say it for you.
Okay.
I don't think you deserve a chair. But
how about a beanbag chair?
It really is. The New York Times did an article about Howard, and it was. Look, he deserves all these accolades. He's the best ever. Like I with all due respect to all you guys, I sat next to that guy for 3 feet from him for 10 years. The guy is a genius at doing that. But what he's doing right now is going to hurt his legacy, because there's not one person who works for him who can say nice things. Where they all would have said something nice when I left there.
Yeah.
He just has an impressive brain too. He's a smart guy. He's getting brainwashed by some con. She seems like she's a con artist. She's a fucking con artist. She's a grifter.
Succubus.
Yeah, I mean,
one of my favorite words.
I truly don't know much about her.
She tapped into his anger,
right?
Of and look, he deserves to be angry too. He was a guy making $96 a week, and he says this out. He's told this before in Detroit as Hopalong Howie in the country station. Nobody wanted to be with him, and his wife really loved him. It was a beautiful sort of love story. And he came and he's fucking just scorched the earth, man. He came and just became the Babe Ruth of radio. Now everybody wants to be his friend.
Yeah, and
he has a lot of anger. And this woman, you don't have to be fucking Sigmund Freud. She saw all these people don't really love you. I get you. And, High-Pitch Eric doesn't get you.
I don't know who that is.
Gary the retard doesn't get you.
Don't say Gary the retard, Artie.
I would have quit right there. I would have said, if I can't call him the retard anymore, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Howard doesn't say the word retard
It's
anymore.
Gary the Conqueror.
They
Bye.
changed his name to Gary the Conqueror.
Yeah. Bye.
That must be confusing to Gary the retard.
For fucking 8 years, whenever he called, I would go, oh, retard! It was when Howard was on America's Got Talent as a judge, sitting next to Heidi fucking dickhead Nazi Klum.
Yeah.
She's judging comedians. A stuttering comic. Howard told a stuttering comedian that he was an unfunny stuttering comedian.
Yeah.
That he was inspirational. Stuttering John was almost suicidal after those shows. He couldn't open his mouth without Frederick. He almost hung himself 3 times. I guess inspirational. What the fuck happened? How is he pulling this off?
I guess I would say this: people are allowed to change, right?
Yeah. So nobody changes like this. This would be like Hitler running a temple.
So you don't think the changes are like legit?
Look, let me tell you something. Okay. And you know comedy. Nobody can make that much of a pivot on how they feel about Ellen Degeneres' dancing. I mean, we used to say what it is. This is horrible.
Yeah.
Housewives wouldn't laugh at this.
Yeah.
She's clearly she's duping the world.
Yeah.
And now he says he looks forward to it. Are you fucking kidding me?
Whose joke was it that I used to love? Because it might have been him or you that said, zoom in on her face. She looks just like Owen Wilson. There's an uncanny similarity. And that's from their show somewhere.
Look, sure, if it was me, I would have said Flip Wilson. No, you're right. She does. She's clearly just she came out at the right time.
Yeah.
That show was terrible.
I said she doesn't even really want to dance either, but being a lesbian, she figured out this bit where she gets to rub up against the women every day at work.
That's your angle.
That was my angle. Yes, right. Of course it was.
That's a good point.
Because she's a stand-up comic, so there's no way in the end she actually likes dancing for people.
Megan Fox is on today.
Right.
We're going to make the dancing longer.
Right. So she's got
that's how she met sports show.
She's got these hot women in the audience wiggling their hips. She's a lesbian. She gets to pick her. She gets to pick what row she goes down. She sees which women she's attracted to that afternoon.
She looks like Chuck Knobloch.
Chuck Knobloch.
You're right. She's picking up pussy.
She studies the audience. I did this whole bit, and then she's like, "I'm going down this aisle," and then there she goes. All right, I like this.
Do a little gauntlet.
Pick up the documentary. Let's Spend the Night Together, the Rolling Stones, 1981. Bill Wyman plays the bass. All he does is look for pussy. That's all he does. You think what, we got shattered?
Yeah.
He's not even playing sometimes. He's lighting a cigarette. And just looking for fucking pussy. That's what she's doing. Like, hey, come on backstage. That's true. I never noticed that.
So, yeah, he can't be looking forward to Ellen Degeneres dancing every day.
Who could do that?
That's just silly.
That's an about face, boy. I tell you.
It's a big about face.
But you're not believing in the about face itself.
No. Who could change that much?
Right.
Yeah, who could change that much?
Ice-T went from saying kill the cops to playing a cop on TV. Remember Body Count? He had
that was a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric, I still can't hear you in the headphones. I only bitched about that for the last 3 days. Maybe they'll fix that eventually. But what were you going to say?
There's a lot of talk about The Bachelor on there.
On the Stern show?
No, that was always, his taste in TV was always the Friends, The Bachelor,
Right.
He used to do that. But as far as Ellen DeGeneres being like Richard Pryor because she dances, we used to hate her. The tapes are there. Pick up the fucking tapes. This is an illusion. Sometimes I think I'm in a fucking dream world. Sometimes I think I stabbed myself and died, and I woke up in a world where Howard Stern likes Ellen DeGeneres is dancing. I woke up in a world where the Yankees suck, the Mets are good, and Howard Stern loves Ellen DeGeneres.
Keep going. Come on.
Yeah, Portia de Rossi, again, she's like she's had her face buried in that pussy for fucking 7 years. I'd be in a daze too. She's like a surrogate for her. And he has her on the show and kisses her ass. He said he looks forward to the dancing. He gets up and looks forward to it.
Do you feel like he wants his legacy to be a little different? Because when you're in the shock jock world,
he wants to make it shittier.
Well, no, I mean when you're getting older and this is what you do for a living. Maybe you don't want to be known as the guy that was throwing baloney on girls' asses, and you're hoping that.
What do you want to be known as?
I think he wants to be known as a great interviewer.
He is. He definitely.
All right,
is,
but he already has that.
The guy is the one. Here's what disappoints me. He's the one guy who could say to these PC police who took over show business, "Fuck you! I can make more money than NEA is. My fans like me more, and I could say whatever the fuck I want." Right. He's the one guy who could have done that and make $100 million. I don't need to kiss Brad Pitt's ass.
Right.
He needs to kiss mine, quite frankly.
Right.
And we all felt like idiots. My point is, look, I was a fan of that show. before I got on. My old man came home from work one day. My father climbed roofs for a living. He was a roofer. Got to the 9th grade in school. And he comes to me and he goes, the summer of 1982, he goes, you're coming to work with me tomorrow. I go, what? He goes, you got to hear this fucking guy. He's so funny. And I think you'd love him. So my father and me bonded on two things, the Yankees and Howard Stern. Right. That was it. And we would stop and pull over and eat lunch. You know, my mother would make like a sausage and pepper sandwich, and we're sitting there and we're listening to him. We bonded on it. It was so fucking funny. Yeah. So when he fell and became a quadriplegic, he fell off a roof. We had, again, what you tell, but I don't give a shit. Lawyers came around to sue people because if you fall off a ladder, you sue the ladder company. You get millions of dollars. So this lawyer comes around and he goes, all right, we're going to sue the ladder company because you fell off a house that has no homeowner's insurance. And the guy had $200,000 to his name. My mother refused to take that money from him, which I was proud of my mom for that. She wouldn't take the guy's life savings. The guy goes, no, don't worry. The ladder company will pay up because they'll feel bad. So when he said that, I said to my dad, I said, should you tell him or me? I went up to the lawyer. I said, he stole the ladder. And the guy said, what? He goes, I said, the ladder says Bell Atlantic on it. My father was driving by a Sears warehouse, and he needed a new ladder. So he sees, he's a kleptomaniac from Newark, my father. He sees a ladder next to a Bell truck. He goes quietly, takes it like it's his ladder, and puts it on his van. And that was the ladder he fell off of. Right. He had to put that ladder on a picnic table because it wasn't tall enough. Yeah. So the lawyer hears that, and he goes, excuse me? I said, he stole the ladder. He calmly put his notes back together and said, I wish you guys luck. So we had to go on welfare. We went on welfare. Wow. It was very difficult. So the only thing in that depressing time, we're about to lose the house, is he would laugh at the Stern Show. That was the one thing. Yeah. And we sent away to all these local celebrities, the Giants, the Jets, and Howard, for something for an auction for him. Howard is the only guy who sent something. He sent a satin K-Rock jacket that he signed. And one day we're listening, and we got on the air. He said, Gary said, by the way, that quadriplegic got the jacket. And Howard said, does he think if he wears the jacket, he's going to walk again? It was so funny. He did it. Of course. It was a Howard joke. We were laughing at it. We were on the show in 1987. My father dies in 90. And when he died, he said, take care of your mother and sister on his deathbed, basically. I was a mess when he died. So, as opposed to the Jack LaLanne I am now. So he never saw that. The job I got about 9 years later, being a co-host of that show, he would have been like, if I was a senator, it wouldn't have been as impressive. Right, of course. And I feel sort of robbed of that a little bit. So that's the connection I have with Howard. So this comes from a place of a lot of love. Yeah, I didn't know about the backstory. Yeah. I had no idea that you and your father were on there back in the day. Well, he mentioned my dad, and then my dad died of complications. And some guy helped him kill himself. He would ask me to kill him every day. Because he was in hell, and I said, Dad, are you thinking this through? What about me? Right, right. I got to live with this. So you're in hell for whatever the fuck you did, and I'm in Trenton State. How was that helping the family? Wow. So the Stern Show meant a lot to me for a long time. It still does, and I just think this woman is a con artist and somehow got infiltrated over there, and people are getting mistreated. And the stories I've heard directly from people, I won't say any names, but it's like, that's not Howard, man. Howard, the guy I knew was so generous, right? Paid for everything, wouldn't let anybody, like, he acted like he should. A lot of celebrities have a resentment, like, no, he just, everything was on him. Right. Private jets. And so what's happening right now is it's just weird, What about Gary? How does he fit in with this whole thing? I mean, wasn't Gary the one that was pretty much running everything behind the scenes, and now she kind of took over for that, right? Yeah. You think that makes Gary feel good? This broad comes in, got a bigger office.
This sounds like when the billionaire, the heiress, or the butler starts manipulating them late in life. Right.
Well, that's what I'm trying to prevent happening.
Remember that? I've seen too many Lifetime made-for-television. Doris Duke, the poor little rich girl.
You're right. All of a sudden, Howard's praising Z Morning Zoo guys.
You said in the Daily Mail, the Daily Mail listened to your podcast, did a whole story.
Oh, thanks, guys. I hope they're not stealing it like everyone else.
I got to listen for free.
I know.
Okay. And
I don't know how to do that.
I just call him. That's what I do.
Your quote is saying Howard lost his mind if the stories I hear are accurate.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Again, in print stuff sounds a little harsh. Yeah. But no. But I mean that again. Worried about him because they are. If the stories are accurate, it's like he does seem like he lost a part of his mind that sort of had compassion for the people that worked there. And believe me, he had a lot of it. And it wasn't fake either. The TV guys, they were fired on the air.
I know.
You know, they were soldiers. They were loyal.
Awesome guys,
They
man.
were pirates, those guys. So much fun. And they were like sons to him. And now they can't get him on the phone.
On the softening, do you think, like the Ellen stuff, did he become a grandpa? I've seen a lot of mean guys go soft when grandpa time rolls
Well, that's
around.
the other thing, too, about Howard. One of the best compliments you can give anybody. He's got 3 unbelievably wonderful, classy daughters. They're so sweet, those girls. He's a great parent, clearly. Like, there's no hint of...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If one of them got married and the grandkids come rolling in, everybody's seen Dr. Doom turn into, Care Bear.
Well, to his credit, I think to his credit, he stopped with the Sybian because...
He's enjoying the Ellen dancing.
Anything's possible.
Anything is fucking possible.
But he could be the head of ISIS. Maybe this woman's ISIS. I never thought of it. They radicalized the redhead. I mean, she's very dangerous. Uh-huh. Well, no, but again, he stopped. His daughters got older. He stopped doing stuff with the Sybian, and he's capable, clearly, of evolving. He can assimilate to any type of radio and be great. But him and his wife did an amazing job with those kids. Like, that's hard to do. And I know he really, that was important to him.
Right.
And I met all 3 of them briefly, and they're just, they're so sweet, they're respectful, and you meet some rich kids in L.A., man. Oh, my God, I just want to punch him in the face. No. Like, I hate that they get better weed than me. I think he didn't have another kid because of me. I think, look, I'm 3 for 3. He said, what if I have Artie?
Let's stop right here.
So he's a good man. So what is the explanation for this? I don't know.
What about, he seems to be holding a grudge against you, because I read the article, and by the way, this is weird because you've been doing my show for a couple of years, and I purposely made sure not to talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
but now it's like it's out there, so I guess today is.
Again, I don't think I'm saying anything. Like I'm saying stuff where I'm actually complimenting him as how great he is, how great he was to me, and how weird these stories. I'm trying to give a voice to some of these guys,
right? And
I had a choice not to do that.
Right.
And I wouldn't say any names, but.
What about the...
listen, I did something... here's another thing. I hate when people say, he never tried to help you. I go, how would you know? These people just listen to the show. Howard tried to help me for 5 straight years. He told me, what better can a boss say than this? He said, Art, go get better. Take as long as you want. I'll help you. When you're done, come back and you have a job. What else would you want to... He said it to me 3 times.
Yeah.
And I tried a couple times, and I shit all over it like a typical addict.
Right.
I left the rehab in Miami, okay, while they were on the air, January of 2009. I went to the Satai 5-star hotel in South Beach. I got a hooker. I ordered room service, and I called the show live. They thought I was in rehab. And I put the waiter on who couldn't speak English, and Howard asked what I had for breakfast. There was a lot of pancakes. And the hooker. And I'm like, clearly, it's like, and Gary said to me, he goes, all right, look, it was funny, but you don't want to get better. It makes us look stupid. It's disrespectful. We're helping you.
Right.
And he was right. He was right.
But it's great radio.
It is great radio.
Sorry to say,
it never dawned on me that was a good point until he just said the guy said it.
I know.
Oh, fuck. Good point.
I'm just thinking about
damn it.
From where I sit.
I'm missing good points.
From where I sit, I'm like, God damn, that's great radio.
But in my head, I'll do you a favor. I'm going to give you great radio.
Wow, that's great. Oh, that's right. This is a life and death situation.
I'm sorry. I know you secretly love Ellen. And you want to get to that.
The idiot Mr. Libra in me just constantly goes back and forth. I'm enthralled, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
So let me tell you something. If you went back, like, defending your life with Albert Brooks and looked at my whole life, you'd see 2 things. A stunning lack of preparation. And 2, missing a lot of good points.
That's your headstone?
So that was the first time you left rehab?
That was the 3rd time.
3rd time, okay.
If you go back to my 20s,
okay.
I was in rehab with Lawrence Taylor once, and he's talked about it, so it's public. It was those group therapies. Oh my God!
Wow.
He would talk, and I talk about. All I want to say was, why were you in the 4-3 defense against?
That's all you wanted to know.
What the fuck? I was $8,000.
My buddy Kenny was in jail.
How much money you cost me?
Kenny was in jail with him in the big tank where y'all in there together, and he said that's all everybody was doing was going up to him, driving him fucking insane, asking him, why didn't you blitz on that 2nd and 24?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
When I got processed the first time I got arrested for coke in L.A., I was in L.A. County Jail. I was handcuffed next to a Mexican kid who was a Mexican gang member. And, of course, they don't exist, according to Hillary. But
really?
He had his back, his entire back had one tattoo on it. It covered his back of Speedy Gonzales, the cartoon character. And it was great work. I said, where'd you get that done? He goes, I'll give you the number, man. He was stabbed in his ankle, and he had a hit out on him, supposedly. And I said, I hope this guy's a good shot. I'm right next to you. For 6 hours, I'm handcuffed while they're processing me. And it's not like Taylor, but this 20-year-old Mexican kid, Chicano kid, looks at me and goes, you're on Mad TV. And I did a sketch where I play a black woman, and the catchphrase was, don't make me break my foot off in your head. He starts yelling it. Don't make me break my foot off in your head. And the guard, who was an asshole, said, you're a celebrity? I said, I'm on a show called Mad TV. He goes, now, if you're a celebrity, you get a red wristband. A red wristband means you get one of two things. You're one of three things. A snitch, a murderer, or a celebrity.
Oh, my God.
Wow. That means you get your own cell.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this Mexican kid got me my own cell.
Right.
And I was very nervous about that. But the guards kept making me up. Tell us a joke, Mr. Comedian. I'm like, I don't know if this is my demographic. But like when Taylor had to go through on a much lower level, I'm going through, I don't know what joke do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Tough room.
But later I found out that Quincy Jones, who produced Mad TV, took care of me in jail. Like I got phone calls at 3 a.m. I didn't know why. And I got out and I saw Quincy and he goes, man, you all right? I go, yeah. He goes, they take care of you now. And I'm like, yeah. And then he left and went, wait a minute. Wow. He was calling the fucking jail. And that's when I said, I hope he doesn't talk to the guards, because the guards used to give Nick racist names to each cell area where the
Yeah.
I said, listen, I'm a comedian. You can have this for free. Where the black guys hang out. The sickle cell area.
That's great.
They high-five me. I think they still use it today.
Got an extra piece of white bread.
That's a home fucking run. But he was sort of taking care of me in there.
Yeah.
I said, just don't tell Quincy the sickle.
That's amazing.
Ixnay on the ickle.
Right. Well, Vic will tell you, people say how to have these stories. Like, I was a drug addict and a road comic for 30 years. If those two worlds collide,
that's crazy.
You're going to have stories.
Yeah, you think?
Sure,
just a few.
Wow.
But my point is, Howard tried everything. He tried everything, and he exhausted himself. He gave me the number of shrinks. He offered to help me if I needed money, thank God, because I was making a lot. I didn't have to steal. But Celebrity Apprentice offered me $250,000 for 2 weeks. I mean, Celebrity Rehab.
Right.
Celebrity Apprentice. $250,000. But I had a room with Dennis Rodman. I said, do I want to kill my mother? I mean,
almost made me chip.
When you're done throwing up, Dennis, in the bucket, can I use it?
I said no. It's at $250,000. How does that make you feel, Vic? You'd hang with Dennis Rodman for $250,000.
Sure, I would.
He's another story.
No kidding.
That's a documentary. I knew him from the Stern Show.
Yeah.
He would call me up drunk or whatever. You think you can't understand them sober?
Right.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
He got mad at a joke I used to tell in my actors. The NBA's motto is "Stay in school." And I said, they're hypocrites. If the NBA went on to promote staying in school at the All-Star game instead of a slam dunk contest, you should hold a spelling bee for the players. It'd be more entertaining. I said, what would be more entertaining? A basketball player dunking again, or Dennis Rodman trying to spell receipt?
Good joke.
Or Wednesday. And one of those tricky words.
One of those tricky words like Wednesday.
Separate.
Right. And people say, oh, you can't spell receipt. You're the hypocrite. I'm like, no, I can't spell receipt. But I'm not telling kids to stay in fucking school either. So he heard that joke.
It's hilarious.
He's mad at me for that joke. I said, "What? Do you want to fight me? What's going on?"
Right.
I'm going to keep doing it.
Of course, it's too good not to.
Switch it to Carmelo Anthony.
But it seems like he's holding a grudge though, because I read the article, and when your book came out, if you obviously would love to have gone on that show and promoted it.
Right. Only if they want me to. I don't want, I was like, look, I don't want to be hostile.
But they asked, and they said no. And then the book company said, well, we'll buy a spot over there at least.
Yeah.
He reaches a huge audience.
They were playing,
And they said no to the Artie Lange book commercial.
The guy called me up. The guy from the marketing department at Simon & Schuster said, Art, this has never happened before. They wouldn't take our money.
Yeah.
He didn't have to read it.
Yeah.
He never would even heard it was on.
Right.
Like a commercial you don't even hear is playing.
Right.
And a lot of money. And I don't want to ask because I don't want to give Gary the opportunity. I love Gary, but I don't want him to be so I don't want to get the smug attitude I just want to give some people who try to get back on. But they're paying me a lot of money. It was the second book, and Too Fat to Fish made good money, so they gave me a lot of money. And I felt guilty. They said, all right, let me ask. It's the least I could do. Because one plug on that show sells a lot of books. Gary says, let me get back to you. the next day he calls me up, he goes, it just ain't happening. Almost with like a smuggy thing. I'm like, okay, Gar, thanks. I told the book company that, and then without me knowing, they tried to get the commercial played, and they couldn't believe that
they said no to the commercial.
So that's hostile. They said that. I mean, that's a hostile move.
What do you think you did to him? You just exhausted. He just got exhausted by you.
Listen, I was very disrespectful, but because I was on dope. I mean, I'm not a disrespectful guy, but when you're on, heroin, I'm not me. But look, I could argue I was funnier on heroin. When I fell asleep, I was funnier.
Right.
My favorite thing I ever did on that show, I might have told you this. Kathy Griffin came in,
yes.
and said she was, telling her mother that she won an Emmy, and it was all sentimental, and you just hear me snoring. It's just so great.
Goes right out on just your head down drooling.
Oh, I know. She's going, and my mother always wanted me to win an Emmy, Howard, and I told her, Mom, I'm nominated for an Emmy.
It's like the best.
I've never done anything funnier than that.
That's great.
It's just the best.
Subtlety at its finest.
But listen, I think he started to make this pivot to this amazing show that he in his head. The show that, look, he said, I mastered that kind of radio. This is all my theory. And he said, I'm great at interviewing, and he was. He did the best Paul McCartney interview I've ever seen in my life. And he could do long form now. He probably said, look, these guys won't come in because of the type of radio I do. Let me make a pivot and let people know I'm not doing that anymore. And maybe Jack Nicholson comes in here, and I have the definitive Jack. I think he wants to leave behind a library of the greatest celebrity interviews.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. He wants to change his legacy a little bit and be known for a little something maybe a bit more highbrow.
But
Charlie Rose?
But ironically enough, well, that type of thing, yeah. But, I mean, ironically enough, though, in doing this, he might change his legacy to where, it's not that great because of the people he's sort of ignoring. And I don't want that to happen. It's more important to me.
Right.
Gilbert has a great joke where he goes, and I see Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in these awful movies, and they say our legacy doesn't mean anything. It means something to me.
Yes, exactly.
So,
how brutal is Kathy Griffin without makeup?
I saw her once, so let me tell you. I'd fuck either one of you guys before.
I can second that.
You've seen her without makeup?
Yes.
At the Brooklyn Diner.
I was not at the Brooklyn Diner.
Oh, God, man.
It's a little rough, huh?
I hate to say it, but it's like Brussels Griffon. It's like Kathy Griffon.
Wow. Yeah, this picture's online.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
She looks like David Faustino.
On a good day.
Wow.
She goes up, though. Look how much she goes up with the makeup.
Yeah.
That's magic.
That is that. Of course, that's magic. That's amazing.
She goes from David Faustino.
The person that did the makeup should get the Emmy.
That's Marcy Turk. That's what she looks like.
When was the last time you saw Howard? I think you told the story. Wasn't it in a hospital?
The other thing that kind of hurt was the day I walked out of that show, and it was bad. He clearly made up his mind. I'm just never going to see Artie again. He can write people off like that. I'm not like that. I come from this big Guinea family where you fucking forgive everything. And I didn't see him for 2 years. I went to rehab. I came back. I was doing all right. I got this show with Apollo, and we were making good money and having fun, and I was doing stand-up again. And I mean, the first show I went back to do stand-up, I sold 6,000 tickets in Philly in like 20 minutes because I guess I was an oddity. They wanted to see if I was walking. But like a gorilla in its enclosure. But I was back. Right.
Don't disturb him.
I was at one of those early shows. That's when I finally...
this is the show I saw you.
When we finally socialized. We used to see each other in the hallway here and there. And
that day I yelled at you. I was high. I was on the line.
No,
I apologize.
Wait a minute. Did you yell at him?
No,
I don't know any of this.
No.
I yelled. It's just wrong.
We almost fought in the hallways. And I saw the cameras coming. I'm like,
he
I
said
walked
something
away
in the
from
bathroom that was justified. He was like,
No, I was mad because what happens with these two shows over the years, there's some real shots taken. I'm not saying you personally took a shot. I don't know.
I mean,
if you did, whatever. I don't even give a fuck.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah. So. If you listen to the radio shows, it sounds like an all-out radio war. Right. And then in the hallway, Artie's like, he's a great guy. And we know the same people.
Yeah,
and he's saying, hey, Ope, what's up? What's going on? And that day, I was so mad because I'm like, on the radio, you're playing this with the rest of them, you hate our fucking guts. But now we're we're buddies in the hall.
My only issue was people would play me tapes of you guys. Look, I was on Stern. It was a radio war. So what I said about you isn't based in anything because I don't know you. So I was just talking.
Yeah.
And I was defending my boss, I'm defending Howard. And, you mentioned something that, was probably justified, and I blew up like an idiot. And Gary should just come back, and you walked out. And that was the only real interaction we ever had.
I got on your face, because it started with him just saying hi. And I'm like, hi?
That sounds familiar.
No, because it was like, oh, yeah.
Maybe you should have hit him with a chair.
Why you I'm like, and I explained to him, that's fucked up.
That's how you get through to Artie.
That's fucked up, because on the air, you're not whatever. But the cool thing is,
come on, we all have. Uncle Floyd's not like that.
It's all good. But the cool thing with Artie, though, we talked it out. I think it was the next day we happened to see each other in the hall again. We talked it out. We hugged, and we're over it.
You realize how ridiculous it is, a radio war.
Exactly. But anyway, the last time you saw Howie,
I saw again. So I figured it was like I couldn't get in touch with him. I would call him and go, Howard, I just want to say I'm sorry. Because it wasn't his fault at all. When fans say that, I get so fucking mad, and I try to defend them. But maybe he was mad at that I put him through that, And people do lie to him, by the way, about stuff I never did, because the fucking sharks are swirling.
Oh,
a lot of people who thought they could sit in that chair,
right?
Who, there's a reason that chair has been empty for not just because he hates me,
right?
But a lot of those people, there's a lot of gossip over there that I never partook in because I don't want to be a sycophant. I always said to myself, I can be funny without that shit. I don't have to tell you someone has a stain on their shirt. I can be funny.
Yeah.
And I was sort of proud of that. So who knows? But someone probably told him something that might not be true, and he doesn't, instead of checking with me. So it hurt a little bit that he was never going to see me again. Howard, Robin Quivers, who I adore, too. She, again, so generous to me when I was there. She bought me these real expensive gifts, was very nice to me. I threw her a party at my shore house, the only non-family member who I threw a party for because I felt I owed her, and I loved hanging out with her. She got sick. She got cancer, and no one knew about it publicly for a while, but I got called by her assistant, and he said, Robin wants you to know, and I was devastated by it. And she was getting a big operation at Beth Israel, and I went over there, and I made sure she was going to see visitors, and I went to, unannounced, I was going to surprise her. And I made sure through the assistant it'd be okay. So I went there, and the security guard recognized me, and I go, he's up there,
Oh, immediately.
I get this guy listen so much, it's like, he gets, he knows the feel. I'm like, what do you, all right, everything's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't get out the Uzis. I walk in the room, it's me, Howard, and Robin. After 2 years, after all that happened, in a small hospital room, Howard looked at me. It was like we just got off the radio. He said, "We got to make Robin laugh. Come on, Artie, let's make Robin laugh." Perfect. Artie's a perfect guy. And I sat down, and for like an hour, we talked like we were on the radio, making her laugh. And it was like touching almost. Yeah. And then he had to leave, and I said, I'm going to stay and talk to Robin for a while. And I hugged him, and I said, I'm sorry. This is not the place to do it. And he goes, how you doing? I go, I'm on to the show with Nick. He goes, that's great. And it was sort of like this, I'm done now. That attitude of like, I got to leave.
Right.
So I let him go, and I hugged him, and that was it. He goes, can I call you? He goes, yeah. So I stayed with Robin for another hour or so, and that was very nice. She looked good, but she was in the woods for a while, and she beat it, and I knew she would. And I got out and I called him again, and he never called me back. 3 times I left messages. I said, "This is the last time, man. I'm not going to be that guy who bugs you."
And you didn't want anything.
No, of course not. No,
I want people to know that because you were doing great with Nick and the books.
I don't need anything.
Yeah,
look, I would go back to loaded trucks before I asked anybody for anything.
Sure,
I don't need that. That's why I love Vic so much. Like Vic is a guy who's like I think you're a classy guy.
He just knows I don't give a fuck. Is what he's trying to say.
I mean, Vic's a good guy to talk to. And he's not a dirtbag,
right?
And he tells it like it is. I've always liked Vic. I never told you that.
No, I knew when you were talking about when you started bopping around before you saw the Getting Ready for the Big Philly show.
Right.
He was popping around the club all the time then, and I would see him with Attell and Brewer and some of the other guys, and it was always everybody was always pulling for him, listening and laughing and hanging out.
Mostly every comic. I gotta say, was always nice.
Oh yeah, always. Totally.
I went off on a tangent, but that's what I meant to say. So I was at one of those first shows down in Philly, when you came back for the first time, and holy fuck, the love in that room.
Yeah, they were
you destroyed, and the fans were out of their minds.
Well, those are radio fans. You could attest to that. Radio fans are much more affectionate and intimate than TV and movie, because you're their friend going to work or something in the car, or not going to work. It's like, and those people there, I always knew they felt that way, but that was the epicenter. That was Philly.
Yeah.
It was South Jersey, North Jersey, and New York. That's all Atlantic City. Yeah. And you get that epicenter of Stern people. There were girls there hugging me like they were crying, like they were my cousin.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so happy they look like me, but no, I'm kidding. They were hugging me like I was related to them. Mm-hmm. And we're just so happy you're okay. And it was a real thing. And that's what, Howard and stuff like guys like you who made and Anthony who made a real impact on fans. You should be proud of that, because there are all the yuck and dickhead shows. They try like crazy.
Yeah.
They can't do it. So Howard made that connection that I sort of jumped onto, and the fact that they accepted me into that family is the best thing that's ever going to happen to me in a comedy career. I have a connection with a crowd, and so this is not coming from a hateful place with Howard. It's coming from a place where I for a couple of years I had those guys calling, and I'm trying to stand up for them a little bit. At the end of the day, Howard's going to be fine. Some of these guys might need a place to stay, and I don't want to be my place.
I'm the lucky one in this whole thing, because they're all marching to my show.
Listen, thank you for giving us. This is great to do this.
It's been you, it's been Gilbert, it's been Pat Cooper, Stuttering John came in here, Jackie the Joke Man.
Look,
I'm like, hey, all's welcome.
I read on Twitter you and Vic Henley, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
From what I've learned from you guys and other radio across America and 30 years on the road is not only are the fans that passionate, and y'all said radio wars, I bet you there are radio war reenactors. Somewhere in Wichita, there's two groups of fuckers that are still going after each other because of Morning Zoo and against the Dawn Patrol.
Guys who dress up like Ron and Fez.
They're grabbing a wig and they're leaving their house to fight the war.
I'm Cousin Bluethy. Bob and
that's what I'm saying. Bob and Tom.
Yeah, Bob and Tom
versus John Boy and Billy. Throwing it down, by God.
Oh, that's great.
Where I sit, I don't get it.
You're lucky you're sitting. You got a chair.
Thank you. I don't get it to a point, because guys like you and Gilbert and Cooper, especially Jackie to some extent, I'm like, how do you let those guys go? They're fucking unbelievable.
It's hard to find
Cooper.
funny guys on the radio.
You say hi to Pat Cooper and you sit back for an hour, and he just fucking destroys.
You get a 3-act play. And Pat Cooper, this might be my favorite mention of any celebrity. In Pat Cooper's book, here's a sentence: I love Artie Lange, but he's an asshole.
That should be on the back of your book. That should be the quote.
What asshole does heroin and stabs himself?
But why did he turn his back on all those guys?
Again, it's a contempt for people that he developed. He's seen a shrink on the Upper West Side must charge him like crazy money.
Yeah.
He should sue that guy. It's not working.
It's not working.
Yeah. Like I say it sometimes on stage, I go, I've been seeing a personal trainer for a year.
Yeah.
I think I have a lawsuit. Well, that's it. I mean, you know what? That's as honest as I've ever been anywhere about this publicly. And,
right.
That's it. I'm just puzzled. It's more to give these guys who call me a little bit of a voice, but I want to let people know how great Howard was to me and how great a person I knew, and why this is all just a little weird. That's all,
Right.
That's how it sounds to me. I don't think. In a minute ago when you said it was like touching, it was fucking amazingly touching.
Yeah. I mean, we were the
hospital room story. It was like that. No, I was sitting there. I'm like, I'm about to tear up. It was more than like touching.
Right.
Yeah. It was fucking touching.
Well, the three of us were alone. Imagine that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And Jackie was there, and I took over for him, I think. Jackie was in the room first. They said, over money, he left.
Well, that's what they did the night they wouldn't play your book commercial. They just replayed a lot of his VHS cassettes. They just sold a lot of copies of Who Farted, Ice Melted.
Hot dogs and donuts. Talk about the lowest common denominator.
I think why the hospital room worked was because everything was stripped down to just nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was no bullshit.
And there was a real serious thing.
Yeah.
Robin was sick.
Right,
you know?
right. So all the gossip doesn't mean anything. The relationships you might have with other fucking people, and the fans, and this and that. It was just you three in a room in a serious situation.
And Howard immediately diffused it. He immediately said,
but my point is that should have fueled something.
Yeah.
Something. Not maybe.
I called him. That's all I can tell you. The truth is, I called him. I left 3 voicemails, 3 different days, and finally I said, Howard, I'm not going to be that guy because I've been on the other side of this.
I didn't talk to him for almost 2.5 years, and
you never, guys can make the kind of comedy in the radio you make. Like fans want to think you get along.
Right.
I think that's what I always said about the Beatles. Like people say, you want them to get along. You want Alan Arkin was getting interviewed. He was a big Beatles fan. He said, "Look, it was so sad to us. These guys who made this music hated each other.
Right? They hated each other the whole time.
Right? Because you feel like you're duped as fans or something.
Right?
You wanted it to be like the movie where they all walk in 4 separate doors, and then they're actually living in one big room together.
That's what I mean. Right? That's what you think it is.
Right? But finally took the call from Ann, and it was just like
it was awesome. I watched it. I thought it was great.
I was like, what the fuck?
The split screen is the best way to watch it.
I guess we should have done that a little sooner.
It was great. It was really funny.
And the chemistry was right perfect. The fuck there.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I've done Anthony's show too, and I love him. I have a great time with both of you guys. And I said to myself, because of some stupid feud, I missed out on those days of coming in here with you two guys together. Like, imagine if this room had Anthony in it 10 years ago with Vic. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's not too late, sir. It's not too late.
Well, I got some blood work back. It might be.
There's a little stool in your blood.
An actual bar stool.
I could call Anthony right now. He can do it right now for you, Artie.
You're probably waking him up.
How you doing these days, man? I haven't seen you in a bit.
I was
doing all right
last month, right? I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
I gamble sometimes, like today.
What you bet on?
I'm kidding. But, I have been. The football's kind of hard, but it's always like. The story I want to tell. Involves I fell off the wagon in February and I got arrested, and I want to tell a story about a jail. Can I take a leak? I want to take a look.
Yeah. Wait, and then you're going to tell us a story?
Yeah, that's a tease.
It's called a tease. I learned that at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting because my probation officer in 1987 said, get an activity. And I left there after 3 months. I couldn't play a cassette tape.
I learned that at the New Jersey School of Bartending. Same thing, tease.
I said, how do I open up a bartending?
All right, Artie's taking a lake. We can keep talking for a minute. Yeah, Artie's gonna.
I've got to pee too. I'll go when. All
right, let's fucking take a break.
I've had 4 waters. I hate to.
We got Jay Williams outside the studio who broke his dick in that motorcycle accident.
I didn't know you could do that.
The basketball player?
I didn't know that was, wow.
Who played for the Bulls?
I know the story, I know the whole story.
He had his life completely fucking turned around, and what I love about him is he really figured it out.
He wrote a great book about it that came out in January earlier this year, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't read it, but...
All right, we got Vic Henley. Artie Lange's going to tell a story about, I guess he just said he fell off the wagon in
February, he said, right.
Hate hearing that.